Victoria's most notorious maximum security jail has opened to the public.
It's the world's most notorious jail, and you're about to see exactly what it's like inside.
Venture into the depths of confinement, where humanity is tested in the grimmest ways imaginable. These aren't just ordinary prisons, they're the world's toughest, most feared institutions. 10 tales of concrete, iron, and desolation await you, starting with the notorious Carandiru Penitentiary. Number 1. Carandiru Penitentiary, Brazil. Carandiru Penitentiary, once the largest prison in South America, imprinted a daunting image of the Brazilian justice system onto the world's consciousness. Constructed in 1920, it was designed to house 3,000 inmates, but by the 1980s, its population had ballowished to over 8,000, nearly triple its original capacity. The overcrowded and unsanitary conditions at Carandiru became a breeding ground for disease, with an alarming rate of HIV infection among inmates. Medical care was scarce, and prisoners were left to the mercy of their own immune systems. Their lives behind bars were not much different from those of wild animals, as they endured the harsh law of survival of the fittest. The prison is most infamous for the massacre that occurred on October 2, 1992, when a riot broke out among the inmates. The military police's response was disproportionately violent, leading to the death of 111 inmates. The horror of that day remains etched in the annals of penal history, marking Carandiru as one of the bloodiest prisons in the world. Violence was not just external, it was also internal. Rival gang members confined within the same walls led to an escalation of hostilities. The structure of power within the prison was dictated by the leaders of these factions, making the life of an average inmate a constant struggle between life and death. Education or rehabilitation were virtually non-existent. The primary concern was mere survival. Carandiru was a stark example of the failure of a punitive approach to crime, a monument to a system that did not so much as aim to reform, but simply to contain. Navigating the Carandiru narrative is akin to walking through a living nightmare. For the thousands who endured its wrath, life was marked by fear, brutality, and deprivation. While the physical entity of Carandiru no longer exists, the echo of its grim past persists, reminding the world of what prisons should never become. Number 2. ADX Florence Facility, United States. When it comes to maximum security, few places in the world are as formidable or as notorious as the ADX Florence Facility in the United States. Officially known as the United States Penitentiary Administrative Maximum Facility, it is colloquially referred to as the Alcatraz of the Rockies. This is no ordinary prison. ADX Florence is a supermax facility, a place designed to house the worst of the worst, inmates considered too dangerous or too high risk for regular maximum security prisons. Located in Fremont County, Colorado, ADX Florence was designed and built in 1994. The facility was a response to escalating violence in the country's high-security prisons. Its purpose? To completely isolate inmates from the outside world and from each other, thereby eliminating the possibility of prison violence. Every aspect of the prison is designed to maintain this absolute isolation. Inmates spend 22 to 24 hours a day in their cells, which are roughly 7 by 12 feet, with a 4-inch wide window designed to prevent them from knowing their exact location within the complex. The cells are fitted with a concrete bed, desk, and stool, all unmovable. Meals are delivered through a slot in the door, and each cell has a shower and a toilet to further reduce the need for inmates to leave their cells. Inmate interactions are kept to an absolute minimum. When an inmate is moved outside their cell, they are accompanied by a minimum of 3 officers. Their recreational time is also spent in solitude, in an outdoor cage slightly larger than their cell. Everything is designed to keep them disoriented and alone, limiting any opportunity for collaboration or escape. The video of infamous criminals housed here reads like a who's who of the American criminal underworld. The facility has housed multiple high-profile inmates, including Theodore Kaczynski, the Unabomber, Terry Nichols, co-perpetrator of the Oklahoma City bombing, Richard Reed, the shoe bomber, and Zacharias Moussaoui, the 20th 9/11 hijacker. Yet the institution is not without controversy. Its extreme isolation policies have been criticized as inhumane, with many arguing that such extended periods of solitary confinement amount to psychological torture. Lawsuits have been filed against the Bureau of Prisons citing these issues, contributing to the infamy of the prison. In the vast, barren landscape of Colorado, this fortress of solitude stands, a chilling testament to the extremes of the American penal system. As ADX Florence continues its role as the most secure prison in America, it remains a beacon of controversy and debate around topics of solitary confinement, prisoner rights, and the balance between security and humanity. Number 3. La Sabaneta Prison, Venezuela. If the notorious Carandiru Penitentiary is the embodiment of a penal system gone wrong, then Venezuela's La Sabaneta Prison is a stark testament to the extreme conditions a prison can descend into. Situated in the city of Maracaibo, La Sabaneta has earned its place among the world's most violent prisons, a consequence of its overcrowding, rampant disease, and unchecked brutality. Designed to accommodate around 700 inmates, La Sabaneta was regularly packed to bursting with a population upwards of 3,500 prisoners. This severe overcrowding led to disastrous sanitation conditions. Basic amenities such as toilets and clean water were insufficient, giving rise to malnutrition, disease, and a shocking mortality rate. Within its grim walls, La Sabaneta was run more by the inmates than by the authorities. With only one guard for every 150 prisoners, control was essentially ceded to the inmates and their makeshift hierarchies. The most powerful prisoners, known as prains, exerted control over various sections of the prison, often demanding payment for basic privileges such as sleeping on a bed or using the toilet. The violence within La Sabaneta was horrifically inventive. Tales circulated of a prisoner nicknamed the People Eater, who was rumored to have killed and eaten fellow inmates. While unverified, stories like these underscored the nightmarish reputation of the prison. Despite its horrors, La Sabaneta remained operational for decades, a symbol of Venezuela's failing penal system. Finally, in 2013, following another horrific riot, the authorities decided to shut it down. The prisoners were transferred and the prison was demolished, with plans to turn the area into a university campus. But the legacy of La Sabaneta endures. The tales of violence, disease, and despair serve as a cautionary tale of what can happen when prisons are left to their own devices, without proper oversight or control. It stands as an example of the inhumanity that can flourish when the justice system fails, not just in its duty to punish, but also to protect and rehabilitate. La Sabaneta may no longer exist, but its dark shadow looms over the collective memory of Venezuela's justice system. Its stories of death and violence echo through the ages, a chilling reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink, and the imperative for justice systems around the world to ensure such conditions are never repeated. Number 4. Rikers Island Prison, United States. Rikers Island in New York City has, for years, been a symbol of a broken and harsh penal system. The complex, which floats in the East River between Queens and the Bronx, has been notorious for its violence, corruption, and disregard for basic human rights, making it one of the most infamous prisons in the United States and the world at large. Opened in 1932, Rikers Island has, over time, grown into a massive complex comprising 9 jails and a capacity to hold 15,000 inmates, making it one of the largest correctional facilities in the world. However, with great size came great problems. Rikers has been consistently overcrowded, leading to tension, violence, and poor living conditions. Corruption has been a persistent issue as well, with numerous guards and officers being implicated in illegal activities such as smuggling drugs, weapons, and other contraband. The influence of violent inmate gangs has also been substantial, contributing to the prison's reputation as a violent and lawless institution. The conditions at Rikers Island have resulted in a slew of lawsuits alleging inhumane treatment, abuse, and neglect of inmates. Public outcry over the facility's conditions has been frequent and loud, drawing attention to the penal system's failure to provide even the most basic rights to those imprisoned. In response to the sustained public criticism and the exposure of the harsh conditions within Rikers, the United States Department of Justice has issued a 2013 Rikers Island Prison, United States. 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 Rik the City of New York announced in 2017 a plan to close the facility within 10 years. The plan includes creating smaller, safer jails in the city's boroughs. As we delve into the story of Rikers Island, we witness a system rife with corruption, violence, and a shocking disregard for human rights. Its history serves as a sobering reminder of the disastrous consequences of punitive justice gone awry and the systemic issues that plague the American penal system. Rikers Island embodies a complex layer of societal issues: racial inequality, poverty, mental health, and the criminal justice system. Its history and present are a mirror to the world, reflecting the urgent need for reform, the demand for justice, and the pursuit of a system where punishment does not negate humanity. Number 5. Tadmor Military Prison, Syria. Within the harsh landscape of Syria's central desert, Tadmor Military Prison represented one of the darkest aspects of the country's autocratic rule. Built by the French Mandate forces in the 1930s and taken over by the Syrian authorities in 1947, Tadmor became synonymous with fear, pain, and despair, widely considered one of the most oppressive prisons in the world. Tadmor Prison was a place where political dissidents and critics of the Syrian government were sent. The facility was used to suppress dissent and instill fear, with prisoners frequently subjected to brutal methods of torture and inhumane conditions. Physical abuse, mental torment, overcrowding, and starvation were all part of the harrowing Tadmor experience. The facility is infamous for the massacre that occurred on June 27, 1980, following an assassination attempt on President Hafez al-Assad. In retaliation, units of the defense brigades were flown to Tadmor and reportedly killed between 800 to 2,400 inmates in a matter of hours. This chilling incident has been etched into Syria's collective memory, marking Tadmor as a place of unspeakable horror. Despite the horrifying conditions, inmates resisted in whatever ways they could. Smuggled writings, secret communication, and attempts to maintain some semblance of societal structure within the prison were all acts of defiance against the prison's oppressive regime. Tadmor Prison was closed in 2001, but it was briefly reopened during the Syrian civil war, again as a place to confine and torture political dissidents. In May 2015, the prison was captured by ISIS, who used it to house their prisoners. In a symbolic act, ISIS blew up the prison complex later that year. Tadmor's legacy is a stark reminder of the oppressive nature of autocratic regimes and the lengths they may go to suppress dissent. The stories of torture, fear, and survival that emanate from Tadmor's ruins are a testament to both the human capacity for cruelty and the enduring spirit of those who resist oppression. Although Tadmor now lies in ruins, its memory endures, a chilling testament to the destructive power of fear and the profound resilience of the human spirit. This shadowy relic of Syria's past stands as a stark reminder of the brutal extremes that exist in the world's toughest prisons. It underlines the urgent, global need for justice, transparency, and accountability in the criminal justice system, even in the most difficult of times. Number 6. Alcatraz, Federal Penitentiary, United States. Situated on a rocky island in the middle of the frigid waters of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary has an ominous reputation that has transcended time and geography. Alcatraz, often referred to as the Rock, operated as a federal prison from 1934 to 1963 and held some of the most notorious criminals in American history. Alcatraz was designed to be the highest security prison in the American penal system, a place where the most dangerous prisoners could be securely confined. Given its isolated location and the treacherous currents of the surrounding bay, escape was considered virtually impossible. Despite this, there were 14 recorded escape attempts involving 36 inmates, none officially deemed successful. Living conditions in Alcatraz were intentionally harsh to match its maximum security status. The prison was infamous for its strict rules and severe discipline. Cells were small and Spartan, and inmates were subjected to complete silence in the early years of operation. This rule was later relaxed, but the prison never lost its strict disciplinary atmosphere. Among the infamous inmates of Alcatraz were mob boss Al Capone, notorious bank robber George Machine Gun Kelly, and Robert Stroud, known as the Birdman of Alcatraz. Their stories and those of other inmates have been the subject of countless books and films, further contributing to the prison's notorious reputation. Today, Alcatraz serves as a museum, drawing visitors from around the world who are intrigued by its historical significance and its notorious reputation. As visitors walk through its abandoned corridors and cell blocks, they can almost sense the despair that once filled the air and hear the echoes of the many lives that were confined within its walls. Alcatraz's story is one of notoriety and fear, a symbol of punishment at its most severe. Its reputation as an inescapable fortress has fascinated and horrified the public for decades. Today, it stands as a monument to a different era in the penal system, a stark reminder of the extremes society can go to contain those it deems most dangerous. Even in its current state as a tourist attraction, Alcatraz retains its chilling aura, serving as a potent reminder of the realities of prison life. It remains a symbol of the constant struggle between society's need for safety and a prisoner's inherent rights, a balance that continues to be an essential issue in the world of criminal justice. Number 7. Gitarama Central Prison, Rwanda. There is no talk about the world's toughest prisons without mentioning Gitarama Central Prison in Rwanda. In the aftermath of the 1994 genocide, Gitarama Prison became a horrific embodiment of the country's deep wounds, human suffering, and a penal system pushed far beyond its limits. Originally built to house 400 inmates, Gitarama swelled to over 7,000 prisoners in the wake of the genocide, making it one of the most densely populated prisons in the world. In the confined space, prisoners were forced to stand day and night due to lack of room, their feet sinking into a mixture of mud, feces, and decomposing human flesh. The living conditions in Gitarama were horrendous, even by the standards of the world's harshest prisons. Disease ran rampant, fueled by filth, malnutrition, and an utter lack of medical care. Death was an everyday occurrence, with many prisoners succumbing to dysentery, gangrene, and HIV/AIDS. Survivors from Gitarama speak of the cannibalism that took place within the prison walls. Starvation drove prisoners to unthinkable extremes, and reports suggest that some resorted to eating the flesh of dead inmates. While these accounts are difficult to substantiate, they have significantly contributed to Gitarama's chilling reputation. Prisoners at Gitarama were predominantly perpetrators of the genocide, waiting for their turn to face justice in a nation where the judicial system was completely overwhelmed. The trial process was painfully slow, leaving many to endure the horrific conditions for years before their cases were heard. The international community eventually intervened, and through the assistance of humanitarian organizations, conditions at Gitarama were improved in the early 2000s. Prison populations were reduced, sanitation was improved, and basic health care was provided. However, the memory of the prison at its worst remains seared into Rwanda's national consciousness. Despite improvements made over the years, Gitarama's legacy lingers as a testament to an incredibly dark period in Rwanda's history. It symbolizes the aftermath of one of the most horrifying genocides in modern history and the subsequent struggle to bring its perpetrators to justice. Gitarama serves as a potent reminder of the chaos that ensues when societal order breaks down, and the dire need for justice, reform, and rehabilitation in the aftermath of such events. Number 8. Patak Island Prison, Russia. Deep within the remote wilderness of Russia on the island of White Lake lies Patak Island Prison, often referred to as the Russian Alcatraz. Known for its severe isolation and harsh conditions, Patak Island Prison is reputed to be one of the toughest prisons in the world. Designed as a maximum security prison, Patak Island houses some of Russia's most dangerous criminals, including murderers, rapists, and terrorists. Its primary purpose is to isolate these individuals from society. The degree of isolation here is extreme. Prisoners are confined to their cells for 22.5 hours per day and are allowed only a 90-minute exercise period in a small outdoor cage. Conditions within Patak Island Prison are harsh. Inmates are housed in tiny cells, and the prison operates a policy of minimal communication. Prisoners are allowed just 2 visits per year, each lasting no longer than 4 hours. Furthermore, inmates are moved to different cells every 3 months to prevent them from establishing relationships with each other. The physical climate adds another layer to Patak's toughness. White Lake's remote location means it experiences extreme weather conditions. Winters here are brutally cold, while summers bring swarms of mosquitoes from the surrounding swamplands. While physical hardship is a significant aspect of life in Patak, the psychological toll is equally, if not more, challenging. The intense isolation and lack of human interaction can lead to severe mental health issues, including depression and psychosis. Despite its grim reputation, Patak Island Prison reflects the belief that certain individuals pose too significant a risk to society to be incarcerated in a regular prison. Its existence raises profound questions about the balance between public safety and the moral implications of extreme isolation as a form of punishment. The story of Patak Island Prison offers a window into Russia's penal system and its approach to dealing with its most dangerous criminals. Its harsh conditions, remote location, and the intense isolation experienced by its prisoners make Patak a truly formidable institution. As with any prison, the underlying themes of crime, punishment, and rehabilitation are at the heart of Patak's existence. The prison's severe isolation policy brings these themes into sharp focus, highlighting the challenges of balancing societal safety with humane treatment of offenders. While Patak's conditions are undeniably tough, they also serve to underline the complexity of these issues in the world of criminal justice. Number 9. Bang Kwang Central Prison, Thailand. Bang Kwang Central Prison, located in the northern suburbs of Bangkok, is infamous for its harsh conditions and the harshness of its inmates' crimes. Often referred to as the Bangkok Hilton, this nickname hides a stark reality. Bang Kwang is a maximum security prison housing many inmates sentenced to life or death. From its opening in 1939, Bang Kwang was designed for long-term imprisonment. Its inmates include those sentenced to over 25 years, many of whom are on death row. The severity of the crimes committed by its prisoners contributes to the prison's reputation as one of the world's toughest. Life inside Bang Kwang is harsh and austere. Inmates are subject to strict discipline, with many spending the first 3 months of their sentence chained day and night. Cells are small and overcrowded, and prisoners receive just 2 meager meals per day. Medical care is minimal, and those with serious health conditions often do not receive the treatment they need. Bang Kwang is particularly notorious for its execution procedures. Until 2003, death sentences were carried out by machine gun. Today, lethal injection is the method of execution, but the specter of the past hangs heavy over Bang Kwang's walls. In recent years, Bang Kwang has become something of a morbid tourist destination, with foreign visitors touring the prison to witness firsthand the harsh realities of life inside. This controversial practice has attracted criticism from human rights groups, who argue that it turns human suffering into a spectacle. Despite its notorious reputation, Bang Kwang has seen attempts at reform. Education and rehabilitation programs have been introduced, and there have been efforts to improve prison conditions. However, the extent to which these reforms have improved life for inmates remains a subject of debate. The narrative of Bang Kwang presents a chilling depiction of prison life at its most severe. As such, it raises important questions about the purpose of incarceration, the nature of punishment, and the possibility of rehabilitation. Despite its daunting reputation, Bang Kwang continues to feature in discussions about prison reform, human rights, and the complexities of criminal justice worldwide. Number 10. La Santé Prison, France. Nestled in the heart of Paris, one of the world's most romanticized cities, is an institution that starkly contrasts with its charming surroundings. La Santé Prison. Opened in 1867 and still operational, La Santé's infamous reputation is embedded in the annals of the French penal system. La Santé, translating to health in English, has been known for anything but a healthy environment. Overcrowding has been a chronic issue, with cells intended for single occupancy, often housing up to 3 inmates. These conditions led to the spread of diseases and ignited tension among prisoners, contributing to a high level of violence within its walls. The living conditions in La Santé have been historically deplorable. Sanitation was lacking, with many cells not equipped with proper toilets. A strict hierarchy among prisoners often forced the weakest to endure the harshest conditions, leading to a high rate of suicides. At its peak in the late 1990s, the suicide rate in La Santé was 7 times higher than in other French prisons. The prison's internal economy has also contributed to its notorious reputation. With a system where everything had a price, inmates with means could access better conditions, while the less fortunate suffered. This disparity often led to exploitation and abuse, further deepening the institution's severe reputation. La Santé's story is not just a tale of a tough prison, it's also a tale of reform. The changes in La Santé reflect the broader shifts in society's views on the purpose of prisons, from purely punitive institutions to ones focused on rehabilitation and reintegration. Yet, La Santé's past continues to cast a long shadow. Despite improvements, reports of violence and harsh conditions persist, keeping the prison firmly in the public and media spotlight. The transformation of La Santé is ongoing, reflecting the continuous struggle of achieving a balance between punishment and rehabilitation. La Santé Prison serves as a critical case study in the discourse about prisons and their role in society. It embodies the challenges that arise when managing criminal behavior within a densely populated urban environment. As we continue to grapple with the question of how to handle crime and punishment, La Santé remains a poignant symbol of these complex issues, reminding us of the profound impact that prison conditions can have on inmates and the necessity of ongoing reform.